Subscribe for Reddit's controversial opinions. The mentally handicapped are absolutely hilarious and I make sure to let them know. I grew up with a severely handicapped brother who passed when I was 17 and he was 27. He was mentally about 2, mostly blind, had a feeding tube and made me laugh more than anyone. My brother went to a special school and I got to meet hundreds of kids like him. They made me laugh with their antics and I felt no shame. Lots of hugs and understanding. Oftentimes the handicapped or disabled or whatever term you want, just want to live their life and seem to love to make others smile, similar to a child. I miss those interactions and will always be grateful of what my amazing fighter of a brother did for my outlook. Enjoy. I agree. I had one student with Down syndrome that was stinking hilarious. Had a great sense of humor and was super cute. Others, too, but this one was awesome. Man, your title is misleading. Not gonna lie, you had me in the first half. Grad, this turned into just a wholesome post. I was out shopping at a mall once and saw some right out of a movie type shit. There was a very handicapped looking guy in a chair with what must have been his brother. The handicapped guy kept dropping something on the floor and his brother would pick it up. The handicapped guy saw me looking and kept doing it, smiling as his brother would go get it. Until he realized what was up and cussed him out. Then the handicapped guy looked at me and said in a slurred way, "Watch this." He with pinpoint accuracy threw what turned out to be a stress ball at two girls walking past. They turned around and the handicapped guy said, "Oh no." His brother went over to apologize and they came over. The handicapped guy said in his slurred fashion, "It wasn't me, it was him, he thinks you're cute." He then threw his head over to me and winked. I couldn't quite grasp what I just witnessed. He was wingmaning his bro like a pro. A lot of people are going to misinterpret your title, but you're a good person, op. Laughter is the best medicine. I have epilepsy and I joke all the time about flopping like a fish, all kinds of shit. At the end of the day it makes everyone a lot more comfortable. Comedy is a great way to normalize an abnormal situation. The idea a disability is off limits to anything comedy related is ridiculous. A truly unpopular opinion that is reasonably presented. Take my upvote. Had a friend with extreme Asperger's back in college. He was exhausting to hang out with cause he always seemed like he was trying to get himself killed, but that dude was so fun to hang out with. I miss him. This is the most wholesome unpopular opinion. I have a buddy named Larry who is 30, but is basically a 5-year-old with a little bit more street smarts. He is absolutely hilarious because he says what he thinks in absolute innocence. I once held a door open for a mentally challenged guy. He yelled at me that I needed to close it and he can do it himself. I used to watch a girl around my little sister's age at church every Sunday with cerebral palsy and a mental disability. She has water on the brain when she was born, and she used to make me cackle every Sunday. I would just volunteer to watch her every Sunday so she could tell me knock-knock jokes about owls and show me videos of her favorite cartoons singing. Such a sweet girl and always made my Sundays bright. Clearly, you were laughing with him, and not at him. My uncle is severely schizophrenic. He once thought a box of tissue was the hottest bowl of soup ever. He picked it up so carefully, brought it to his lips and sipped it. I laughed so hard. I also have a sister who's 20 RN but has the mental age of like a 7-year-old. She and the people she used to go to school with are really sweet and funny too, so I completely understand how you feel. I used to work with a man who was mild to moderate developmentally disabled. He was able to perform repetitive physical tasks with some guidance every so often. The conversations I'd get into with this guy were some of the funniest I'd ever experienced. He had zero filter, and he was also gay, so he'd often divulge some really wild secrets about himself and his life. He once launched into this tirade about how his older sister is now pregnant because she had sex with her husband while watching the World Series. He thought this was horrifying. He ended the conversation by saying, "I would never do something like that. I don't even like baseball." This is going to be the ultimate test of who's patient enough to read the whole post before commenting. If this opinion is unpopular, then I guess I'm unpopular. Some of the best and most hilarious people I've ever met have been neurodivergent or impaired. I'm never sure how or when to say this without sounding like a weirdo, but I'll put it out in this thread. I think people with Down syndrome are an absolute blessing to humanity.